I'm Doug Doyle with the art of the story.
One thing leads to another, too late to run for cover. She's much too close for comfort now.
Guitarist and singer Jon Pizzarelli and his trio, with Isaiah Thompson on piano and Mike Karn on bass, christened the new WBGO studio with a performance hosted by Gary Walker, who also interviewed Jon, whom he's known for many years.
Too Close for Comfort. Mr. Wonderful, 1956. I think Sammy Davis Jr. played that
You
part.
are correct, sir.
Yeah, I remember it was 1994, and I was hanging out one afternoon with my good friend Steve Backer.
Oh, yeah.
And so he says, hey, Pizzarelli's over at NOLA. Let's stop over there. Right? So we stopped over to the legendary NOLA studios.
Yeah.
We sat down, and Jon started into this tune, gorgeous tune about lost love. And he turned and he said, you know, Rosie Clooney told me about this tune. And the tune was called I'm All Right Now.
Yeah.
And when he reached the end of the tune, he says, you know, at the end, Bucky, he called his dad Bucky, he said, I want you to do a little flourish at the end. So the end of the tune came, and then came the flourish, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And Jon said, Bucky, I didn't ask you to play the entire fake book.
That's like that. That's a great lick. Just do 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 do. It was fantastic. It was in the right spot.
And reminds me of, you know, the afternoons I would spend at Waterloo Village,
Yeah.
watching your dad
Yeah.
and the sign painter from New Jersey, Tal Farlow, sit on a couple of folding chairs and just make magic.
Those are some of my first real gigs in the jazz world out at Waterloo Village with Bucky. We did so many summers, and one of the last times I played with Zoot Sims was there too.
Growing up in a household with people like Les Paul, you know, who were frequent guests at the house, just by assimilation, some of this playing had to find its way into a young mind that started out with Robin Trower.
For hobby hour, I had the music kids with another guitar player. His name was Mike Taplinger, and he said, "You're Bucky Pizzarelli?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I studied with Barry Galbraith." He said, "We should play together," and that's when my father showed me the 7-string guitar and how to accompany. And you know, like instead of this, you have, and it was sort of the create a walking bass line. And Bucky had been doing that for 10 years at that point. And so I sort of learned playing with Mike. And then when I got out of college and started to work with my father, the first gig was at the Morristown Library. And he said, bring the 7-string and just play that instead. I was like, do we get a chance to practice? You know, it was on the job training all the time with him.
You can hear and see the entire interview with Jon Pizzarelli at WBGO.org. I'm Doug Doyle, WBGO News.